Brandon Jones, first win of the year. Unbelievable.
And we talked about tire prep. The 19 was working his tires really hard before that.
Awesome job.
Absolutely.
Awesome job all day, guys.
Brandon took advantage and took the win.
5th career victory.
35 laps. Well, we got some angry fellas here.
Ty Gibbs, Sam Mayer.
Helmets on. Oh.
Here we go. Coleman talked about the fact they've been racing each other for a long time. Oh, and there's a punch. Ty Gibbs going after Sam Mayer, and we've got a fight at Martinsville.
He ain't let him go.
Couple good shots. Connected.
Yeah, I mean, kind of took him out. I can see Ty's frustration there. Sam's running hard to try to get
100 grand.
Oh, wow.
That was for 100,000 right there.
For sure.
For $100,000, Ty Gibbs was furious with Sam Mayer. They've had run-ins in the past in ARCA series and other racing series, but this was a whole new level in the NASCAR Xfinity series, and Ty Gibbs was furious. He had a shot to win and lost to his teammate. And if that isn't worse enough, to have Sam Mayer, one of your biggest rivals on the racetrack, knock you out of the way and then put you in the wall for $100,000 and to tear up a race car. This was uncalled for by Sam Mayer, in my opinion. But Ty Gibbs was not going to let him have it. He decided to run into Sam Mayer after the race, which was a pretty stupid move, damage his race car even more. But then he walked over to Sam Mayer, and the fist and the fight broke out. This would ultimately cost Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer some money, but it was one of the best fights we've seen in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
He'll see the white flag one more time around. Martin Truex Jr. on the inside, looking for his first short track win, as well as a trip to Miami to try to defend his championship. The 2017 champion, will he get the bumper? Yes, he does. Here comes Logano. Logano on the inside, a drag race, they're sideways, and it's going to be Logano getting the win.
The situations it would put drivers in, it's going to put them in a position to do things they wouldn't normally do because there's so much on the line in an individual race, more than ever before.
You're going to see a lot of Joey Logano in this video. It's because he's done stuff like this. Martin Truex Jr. raced Joey Logano clean for over 10 laps at Martinsville. That in itself is hard to do, to not wreck or to not even move your competitor up and out of the groove. But Truex did it respectfully and clean. These two drivers battled it out for a championship 4 spot in 2018, and it looked to be the day Martin Truex was going to win. He cleanly got around Joey Logano coming off of turn 2 in the final lap. And what does Joey Logano do? He sends it in there, hits Truex, knocks him up out of the groove, gets him loose, and then picks up the win. Martin Truex was rightfully upset with Joey Logano, and he even called Joey Logano out in his post-race interview.
Not even close to the back of the 19. The 11 clears him, and now here comes Denny Hamlin to the inside for the lead through 1.
He runs the 5 wide, almost into the fence.
Up into the wall with the 5, and now the momentum. Behind them, with the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., Larson loses the lead. Hamlin's out front.
Oh, we got a crash behind him into the tunnel turn, a big wreck. Hard lick.
That's Haley in the 31.
Gassed it up in the middle of the corner.
This is right after coming to the yellow.
Yeah,
here.
this is after the yellow. Look at that. Wow. He is angry. So we'd like to see the restart to where we can watch Denny. He, in the middle of the corner, gets position on the 5, then just throtbles up, really, and drives up the racetrack, carrying the 5 up the racetrack. We saw this before, but it was Ross Chastain on the outside last year. Again, the 5 hard into the wall. Literally almost the same exact scenario. He comes down the racetrack trying to slow Denny down.
Yeah, you don't mind getting run up the racetrack a little bit, but when you get run up the racetrack this much to where now there's contact and it pushes you out of the groove, you have no choice but to lift out of the throttle, and you're still going to hit the wall. So Yeah, I don't blame him. I'd be mad too.
We saw it out of Ross Chastain, or with Ross Chastain last year. Hamlin did the same move, and now you see the frustration from Larson.
It is what it is. Like, yeah, we're friends. Yes, this makes things shitty and awkward, but you know, whatever. You know, he's always right. All the buddies know Denny's always right. So I'm sure he was in the right there as well. But you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to let it, you know, tarnish a friendship on track, but I am pissed. So.
Friends off the racetrack, but rivals on the racetrack. And this is Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin is one of the most aggressive drivers on the racetrack, but you know who's also probably more aggressive? And it's Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson has consistently put drivers in bad situations on the racetrack where they have to lift out of the gas or wreck themselves. And this is what Denny Hamlin did to Kyle Larson in 2023 at Pocono. And Kyle Larson didn't lift. He hit the wall, and this basically cost Kyle Larson a chance at the win. Hamlin was not going to apologize, and Larson was not going to let Hamlin have it. But in the end, Denny Hamlin was able to pick up the win and the trophy, and Kyle Larson didn't do anything about it. He talked some crap in his post-race interview, but it ended up nothing came to fruition. This is one of the most controversial finishes for Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson in their entire racing career.
Way up the racetrack goes Chase Elliott. He opens the door down below. Here comes Denny Hamlin.
Logano to the inside for the race lead. 4 laps remaining into turn 1.
No, it's the kind of thing you can't do. I'm telling you, one little mistake on each one of these guys. Oh, he is all under Martin. He got him sideways.
Martin sideways off the corner. Here comes Joey Logano for the race lead at
Anyway,
Pocono.
we're not done yet. I don't think Mark's going to appreciate that too much.
No, but I truly believe that once Joey's in front, I do believe this. Joey checked out on him a minute ago.
Like I said, Joey Logano is going to be in this video a lot, and here's another reason. He ran Mark Martin down, the veteran of the NASCAR Cup Series, who's raced everybody with respect in his entire career. He chased him down with over 5 laps to go. With 4 to go, he was there. He moved Martin up the track without even giving him a chance to pass him cleanly. After he moved Martin up the track, he was able to set sail and pick up the victory. This is one of the most heartbreaking moments for any Mark Martin fans. This had to be extremely heartbreaking, even more for Mark Martin, because he was the one that vouched for Joe Logano and gave him a shot in the NASCAR Cup Series.
He's going to take a look, and Earnhardt's going to be up on the high side. Carl Edwards has got his mirrors full. He's a little bit loose off of 2. He's sideways.
Carl Edwards is around.
And he got turned. Oh.
Caution flag is out. The race is over.
Get fired up, get around here. Carl's car get loose right there. He gets loose. Junior's got a good run, and you know he gets in the back of the bumper and turns him. I mean, there's no two ways about it. But a lot of things happened at once there. He gets tagged a little bit by the 8 car, and then it turned right across Robbie's nose.
In 2006, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Dale Jr. was racing Carl Edwards for the lead. Edwards would slide up off of turn number 2, and Jr. did not lift. He just got in the back of Edwards and sent him spinning around, ending Carl Edwards' day and the race, back when we didn't have overtime. Dale Jr. would pick up the victory after wrecking Carl Edwards at Michigan.
Elliott right on his back bumper, looking to the inside at 10. They make contact. Elliott spins the 3 into the tires, and Chase Elliott trying to hang on. Across the stripe he'll go. Elliott wins in Canada.
43 off the one, back to his rear bumper as the 48 continues to try to take the lead from the 11. Oh! The 11 around.
The 11 goes around, and the caution will come out. A restart.
Down into turn 3. The 48 gets loose into the corner. You can see the back coming around. He has to chase the car up the track into the left rear corner panel of Denny Hamlin. Denny goes around into the wall. Typical Martinsville, 2 cars racing hard at the end of this race, and the guy on the inside trying his hardest. Overruns the entry of the corner. We see it over and over. This is late in the race where those front brakes gave out. You got a lot of rear brake in the car because the front brakes are giving up time and time again. When you see them running so hard, you know they're pushing really, really hard, and those front brakes are going away, and that entry gets looser as those brakes fade.
And Denny Hamlin doesn't care why. He just knows he got wrecked leading the race. But
Denny Hamlin has had some horrible luck at Martinsville in the previous years. He used to be king at Martinsville, but it was frustrating for him to even try to pick up a win. He would either be taken out or gotten wrecked or other situations that kept him out of victory. And in 2021, it was Alex Bowman who kept him out of the victory lane. It was because Alex Bowman overdrove turn number 3, got into Hamlin with just a few laps to go. And Bowman wasn't even battling for a championship 4 spot like Denny Hamlin was. This made for some egregious tempers after the race, where Denny Hamlin would go nose to nose with Alex Bowman after the race when he was doing his burnouts. This infuriated Hamlin so much that he called him a hack, and that he was never going to be anything in the NASCAR Cup Series.
Uh-oh, trouble. Paul Menard into the wall.
Yeah, that's some damage too.
Clear there.
No caution yet.
Inside, right rear caved over.
There's the caution. Now the yellow for debris from Paul Menard's. Bounce off the wall out of 7th place.
All right, guys, get ready to get the deck lid down and work on the right rear quarter.
And let's see. There was contact for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that left rear tire didn't get cut down on Paul Menard's too by that contact like we saw earlier with Trevor Bayne.
Still there.
Just ever so slightly, but
Clear, 60, clear.
hard to tell if it cut that left rear.
Yeah, I believe it was okay there. I think it was the contact later as Paul tried to look like he tried to get down maybe behind the 9, or possibly he was...
Or down to the 9?
To the 9, yes. Not very happy with the young man there, possibly. But it ended up costing him.
You drove a great race. In fact, you know what? I was pulling for you at the end. Even Denny was respecting you. He lifted not once, but twice. You did a great job. Then you blew it at the end. You intentionally wrecked 11. You say you want to be a great driver, but that's not going to happen, dude. You pull that crap, you'll be out real fast. Take a listen here to what Joey had to say after this race.
Now we're even.
Probably shouldn't have done what he did last week, so that's what he gets.
No, Joey, you're not even. You're way below everyone else right now.
Wow, easy, Spence. He did defend himself. Here, take a listen.
He's trying to accomplish to win a race. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. Just barrel it off into 3 a little bit too hard. Wanted to win.
Well, if you really wanted to win, then you should have been focusing a lot more on what was going on around you. I guess you didn't realize your motor was blowing up. The 18 car was still lurking right there. You lost focus on your job. Your only thought, though, was to keep that 11 car from winning this race.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. did one of the most controversial things he's ever done in his NASCAR Cup Series career at Daytona. Daytona has a love and hate relationship with Dale Jr., and he intentionally crashed Brian Vickers in the backstretch, wrecking over 80% of the remaining field in the race. This was probably one of the darkest things that Dale Jr. ever did in his Cup Series career, and it still lives on to this day as uncalled for.
And all of those cars are cars that had made green flag stops prior to that caution. Boy, Brian Vickers, Dale Earnhardt Jr., that ain't going to work, boys.
Vickers hard.
Here we
Kyle
go.
Busch, the dominant car of the day, in the wall.
That was wrong.
And 10 cars sliding, slamming into the infield.
Jimmy Johnson, totally uncalled for. Totally.
I don't care who you are, that was just wrong.
Are a good 8 to 10 race cars torn up.
Now Vickers makes a legal move coming down to block Dale Jr. But instead of blending in, Jr. caught the back end of Vickers' Toyota. And of all the cars in that crash, you have to feel for Kyle Busch. He had led 88 laps, far more than anyone else today, but his number 18 is junk.
Just all of this uncalled for, mainly with 75 laps to go in this race. Vickers puts the block on him, and then Junior just turns right back into the racetrack, right in the left rear, Brian Vickers.
Saw a similar situation like that yesterday in the nationwide race.
And the results are a good...
Joey Logano through 3 and 4 for the final time. There's the contact. He does get to him. The 11 on the inside. He gets into the wall. Dillon's going to win it at the line.
Pop the crowd, everybody.
Still to this day, it blows my mind that Austin Dillon was even able to do this. He was so far back entering turn 3 on Joey Logano, yet he was able to drive it so far in there, hit Joey Logano, lose control of his race car, and still manage to crash Denny Hamlin in the process and win the race. Honestly, it takes some skill to be that bad, and Austin Dillon has some skill to be that bad. It was a very unfortunate circumstance for Logano and Hamlin, but Dillon was able to pick up the win on this full send into turn 3. Ultimately, he was revoked his eligibility for the NASCAR playoffs because NASCAR deemed this as unsportsmanlike, and Dillon was upset.
And potentially he's going to clear him off of turn 4. They're side by side to turn 1.
Taylor Gray back to the race lead. 3 of the last 6 races at Martinsville have had a last lap pass. Sammy Smith is there. Justin Allgaier is there.
Oh!
Will there be contact? There is. There goes Gray. Here comes Allgaier. Austin Hill out of nowhere. It's going to win.
Oh my goodness.
Martinsville. Do you believe that? With a huge crash at the start-finish line.
Lead here, and then just to come from this far back, though, I mean, this is just, that's too much. No one wants to see that. If you're a young kid watching this, that's too far.
10 leaders sets a new track record. Austin Hill leads only the last lap, but in dramatic fashion, he wins for a second time this season.
You would think after the previous race at Richmond in the NASCAR Cup Series that people wouldn't dive bomb it into turn 3 and wreck first place. And yet, Sammy Smith, the NASCAR Xfinity Series driver, still did that. He sent it in on Taylor Gray, driver of the number 54 car, after being moved out of the groove. Taylor Gray was extremely upset with Sammy Smith, but he was able to keep his composure in his post-race interview. But a lot of people were mad at Sammy Smith.
He won't open this one up, though, right here.
No. Oh, he's going to use
AJ's going to open it for him.
Moved him. Moved him. AJ moved him. Is he going to get moved back? Comes back. Chastain, will he answer? And Bowman wants to steal it. Oh, he'll get the chance. Bowman's under him.
Oh, my God.
Chastain's going to have to move them both. You're going to have to move them both.
Oh,
he is. Oh. And around goes Allgaier off the bumper of Chastain. And Ross Chastain beats and bangs his way to turn 20 and off the corner to the checkered flag. Hey, I don't mind that. He got moved and moved him back.
Absolutely.
Great job, boy.
Ross Chastain was able to pick up his very first career win in 2022 after sending it in on AJ Allmendinger, who would collect Alex Bowman in the process. Both of these drivers go spinning off the track as Chastain was able to pick up the victory and secure his spot in the playoffs and the first ever win for Trackhouse Racing. This is one of the most controversial moves in the 2022 season, as Ross Chastain was raced fairly clean by AJ Allmendinger, but the next corner he sent it in there and wrecked him. It still surprises me that there was no punches thrown, but that's just how NASCAR is sometimes.
The 24 car looks pretty loose. It's the last lap.
Oh,
he hit the oh, into the wall. Oh, Logano goes by.
Wow.
White flag. One lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Wow.
I knew it.
What do you say?
Joey Logano.
Nice job. Checkered flag.
28th career win. Logano, from the pole to the checkered flag, captures the Goodyear 400. You're watching from Eric Almirola's car. Kane's trying to get into his pit. Brad's trying to exit. And there's the damage. Kurt Busch clips him hard on the right front.
Typical Martinsville stuff, you know, it's lap 50 and everybody's got to give and take on the racetrack and on pit road. And you know, the 5 car was pitted in the stall in front of me, and he was at, you know, whatever struggles he had earlier in the race, he had to come in. And I saw him checking up, and I started to check up, and I just barely got in the back of him. And then Kurt just accelerated and drove through us. Absolutely drove through us. I tell you, man, I'm about tired of his recklessness.
You think these two guys are looking for each other, or is that one guy looking for that other one? Or
Darrell, race drivers have longer memory than elephants.
I don't know. You look out the nose of that thing, you don't have one. You remember who did it?
Well, that's true.
I saw a hand coming out the left side window of that 2 car as well.
Yeah. You want by me? You may have to work a little bit.
This is going to get ugly here.
Here we go. And Brad jams on the brakes. Everybody stacks up. Now they're side by side, and it's on, heading for turn 3. and it's off again.